Did you know that the material handling industry is one of the highest paying jobs without having a degree? Stick around. I'm gonna give you some advice on how you can start building the foundation and doing some groundwork for your future in the logistics industry. Mike Diaz here, welcome to the LMS channel. If you wanna learn more, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, give me a smash on that like button, and consider subscribing so we could see you on the next one. Leave your questions in your comments below. Let us know if you want to learn something or see something for the next video. And if you want to contact me direct, my email is in the description below. I'm going to talk to you about success or setting yourself up for success in the warehousing industry. We're going to talk about mindset first so you can start developing that foundation. So for one, be responsible with your personal time. You can't show up on Mondays all hungover. And then for the majority of guys, you want to call off on Mondays because they're hungover. If that's a normal practice for you right now, this channel is probably not for you because we're talking about winning. But if you want to get your act together and you want to get yourself straight, then follow us. Come in ready to win. Focus on the job. Leave your cell phone in your car, leave all your baggage outside, and come in ready to win so you can stack those wins. You want to be focused on the task at hand. If you're training, you want to be focused on that training. You want to immerse yourself. Do everything you can to receive every bit and piece of information that you can. Forget about what's going outside. Be ready with the tools that you need in hand. All right, there's gonna be things that you need throughout the warehouse. You might need a flashlight, knives, gloves. A lot of places don't provide those things. We at LMS here, we do. If you're a new hire and you're coming into the warehouse, we give you a whole holster with everything that you need. Markers, pens, gloves, knives, shrink wrap openers, all that good stuff. But you want to get to the job ready to go. Discipline. This is huge. Believe it or not, you require a lot of discipline in the warehouse. You're doing tasks, and all your tasks are basically the same. When you're receiving, when you're picking, when you're packing, when you're shipping, if you're processing orders, if you're checking orders in the QA process, if you're part of the production team, you need discipline. You gotta do it right and follow it till the end, do it complete as best as possible. Perfection can be achieved. You just gotta slow down and do things right. You gotta have the discipline to do it the same way all the time, all the way to the end, and don't waver. And if you take that home with you, I guarantee you your life will be a lot better. I mentioned immersement. You want to immerse yourself in what you're doing. Immerse yourself in what you're doing. Have the discipline to be conscientious every time you do it. And remember, later on, you're going to be leading people doing the same thing. And there's a lot of respect in somebody that knows what the hell they're doing. If you can explain to them what they need to do, how they needed to do it, and be successful, that's going to be a positive for you later as a leader. You train yourself. Look at what you're doing. Look at how you could have done it better. Look at the documents that you're dealing with. Look around them. Get more versed on what you're actually doing and why you're doing it. Don't just press that button 100 times a day like a drone. Understand why you're pressing that button and understand what happened before you pressed that button and what happened after you pressed that button. That's mindset. OJT, I don't know if you heard the phrase, but that means on-the-job training. This ain't middle school anymore where we sit down and we get some instruction and we do some training. Now, this is live. This is a live environment and it's time to get down, but we're gonna take a different approach. We're gonna take a soldier-like approach. OSHA hazard. All right, for one, when you get into the warehouse, know where you are in the world. At least know where north is at. North, south, west, and east. That helps you plan a foundation to where you're at. You know where you're facing at every given time. If somebody's telling you, hey, go to the south end of the warehouse to go grab something, you know exactly where you're at. If there's an emergency that you have to call first responders, hey, we're gonna be on the northbound lane of Tippecanoe Avenue. Our rally point is facing westbound. You are in the know to where you are at any given time. And how do you do this? Real easy. Remember, odd number freeways go north and south, find the most predominant one. For us is the 10 freeway that goes from California to Florida. It's right there. So we know that north is this way, south is that way. The coast, is west. Back home in New York is east. So know where you are in the world. It gives you a good balance on situational awareness. Know your roles and your responsibilities like if they were the back of your hand. When you're hiring on, there's a job description. And that helps you know what you're being held accountable for. If you know your role, you know a little bit less and a little bit more than your role, you know where you need to focus on attention, what you need to learn, and who you need to learn from, and then your responsibilities. Who's holding you accountable for what? That way, you can focus on those responsibilities 100%. That way, you're always in the clear. And this gives you a good heading on what you need to learn next in the process and before that process. Don't bring in any of your baggage. And what do we mean by don't bring in any baggage? For one, don't bring personal stuff into the work area because you mess up everybody's mojo. We want the energy nice and clean and neutral. We don't want any biasness. Bad habits from other places, don't bring them. Don't bring assumptions to new places. Don't bring assumptions to your current place because you never know where everybody's coming from. Everyone has a story, so don't judge the person or a person by a chapter that you just walked in on. Get familiar with the job, with the ins and the outs, what happens before, what happens after, and learn the lingos. Every place you go to has a lingo or a language. Now, in warehousing, everyone's lingo it's followed by their WMS. Some WMSs call pallet IDs. Some call them LPNs. Some call them movable unit labels. Get familiar with all the lingos. And how do you do that? Go home and watch some videos. Go look at some studies on the logistics industry. Go look at warehousing studies, logistics studies, port studies. Look at these white papers that are out there. That's a really good funnel of information for you, and it's gonna get you really quick, astute on the languages that these warehouses are talking about. That way, that doesn't act as noise for you. Because when you're training, and I'm talking about pallet IDs and movable units and UOMs and NMFCs, you're not gonna ask me what they are, and I'm gonna keep talking, and you're gonna be 100% lost. Situational awareness. Pay attention to your surroundings. I can't tell you how many times I see people just walk around, all right? 360, head on a swivel at all times. Be an agent of your surroundings. Observe everything that's going on around you. When trucks are pulling in, look through the window. When people are passing by, make eye contact. If you're approaching a forklift, make eye contact with the operator. You gotta pay attention to your surroundings. And doing that, you start absorbing information of your environment and your brain starts reacting a lot faster to what goes on and what could potentially be lurking in the inside as far as risks, as far as someone not paying attention, a pallet falling, a forklift passing, somebody that needs help. The voices in your head. I say this so many times. When I'm training somebody, I tell them, shut the voices in your head off. This is how it goes. As I'm giving guidance to someone on what they're gonna do, grab this line of pallets, bring it over here, let's stage it so it's ready to go when the trucker comes in. They're already thinking about how they're gonna do it and what they're gonna do, or maybe what they're gonna eat for lunch, or maybe lunch is coming up, or break time is coming up. They're thinking about all these things while I'm giving them guidance, and it happens a lot. And how do we know? They come back with the question, which line of pallets did you need? Where did you need me to put it or stage it? How many pallets was it? That's lame. Don't be a bozo. Shut this all off, because you can't receive information, you can't receive training, you can't receive guidance if you're transmitting stuff inside your brain. It doesn't work. How do you think we as soldiers, we get to the correct place and we do the correct operation? It's because when we're receiving orders and guidance, we shut this off. We take that time to receive, to listen, to hear, and understand. We said not to bring your baggage with you. Now, every warehouse that you go to, they do things a certain way, and that's because of a certain set of parameters. Do exactly as you're trained to do. Don't come with any bright ideas, because you're gonna disturb operations. Things are done a certain way because things come in a certain way, they get stored a certain way, they get put away a certain way, they get picked a different way, they get packed, they ship a different way, And then when it's time to bill everything, to send an invoice to the customer, they have to track everything that happened. So don't come in with your bright ideas. Do what you're told. Ask questions, but you ask the questions out of curiosity, not out of laziness. Simon Sinek, a leadership guru, will tell you it's okay to be the idiot. Now, I get supervisors in here that grab guidance, we give them guidance, and then they walk away, and it was a waste of time. I wasted my breath because they didn't handle things the way I requested them to handle it. And it's because they're really keen on saying, yeah, got it. Because they want to look like they know. But then they become an idiot by not doing what was asked of them. So it's okay to be the idiot. If you don't understand what somebody's telling you, do like Denzel.
All right, explain this to me like I'm a 2-year-old, okay? Because there's an element to this thing I just cannot get through my thick head.
That way you understand, you hear, you acknowledge, and you can execute. When we say don't ask questions out of laziness, when we train people, they don't really get the material, and they don't get it because they don't want to learn it. They think they're going to figure it out later on. That's lazy. And then you have folks sometimes that write notes, and their notes are crappy. Their notes are everywhere. They can't even go back to their notes. Or a lot of times, and we observe, people write notes, and the next time that they're going to hit that task, they don't even want to read their notes. So they come and ask you how to do something. And we say, go read your notes. That's a lazy question. We said understand communication before you walk away, and that is crucial. Remember that. Down from the lowest level to the highest level. Know your resources. Know who's going to support you. Know what can support you. Know where things are. Know where assets are. Know where liabilities are. But it's really important to know what your resources are at every single level of your warehouse tenure. Know what tools are available for you to complete your job. Know what type of systems there are to augment your efforts, whether it be a simple calculator, whether it be a WMS, whether it be a transportation management system or a yard management system. There are systems out there for us to use. Know the process. Know the process that happens before you. Know your process and how it fits into the whole scheme of things. Know the next process. That way you understand where you're at in the system. You can support those below you or those to the left of you, and then you can support those above you or those to the right of you. Remember to make your leaders shine. Don't be so difficult to manage. Be resourceful. If you know somebody's gonna ask for something, don't be lazy and not give it to them so they don't ask you for it. You already know someone's gonna ask you for a count. Get them a count before they ask for it. You know somebody's gonna ask you to move something. Move it before they ask you. We got a lot of bozos here that you gotta push them so hard so they can support you. It's okay, because they're gonna be bozos for a long time. Not you though. You need to be that one that's gonna be a leader and practice now, because you're gonna be doing this later on. If you stay tuned, I'm gonna give you a little checklist and a loadout for things that you potentially might need if you're getting on a new job, or if you're just doing your normal job, you wanna come to the warehouse prepared. That's the thing that we as owners look at. We don't want people running around for pens, markers, knives. There's a lot of time wasted in that. And that alone, having a holster, if everyone in the warehouse had a holster and had all the tools they need, you could save hundreds of thousands of dollars a year on wasted time. So we compiled for you a couple of resources from our staff and advice that they have for you to be successful in the warehouse. Take it away, team.
My advice to you to be successful is to learn your job, be dependable, double check your work, and cross-check yourself all the time.
Follow instructions to a T and do things as you're told.
If you don't understand something, it's okay to ask. Ask for another demonstration. Before you walk away, don't make it worse.
Don't be afraid to perform at your best. Don't hold back, because someone will recognize your efforts, and hey, you may be moving up in position before you know it.
Come on, bro. Stop standing around. Let's get it.
You're a gear in this machine. I need you to move with me and like me.
Stay organized and do not multitask and do things at 100%. Complete one task at a time and always follow through.
Now we're talking about your work. and your product. Remember that anything that you do has your signature on it. Whether you wet a piece of paper, whether somebody delegated something to you, but your work and your product has your signature written all over it. There's things that happen here in the warehouse that I can tell who exactly did that. I can tell sometimes who didn't do that because I know people's work. I know what their ethic is like. So take pride in your work. Consistency, a portion of that discipline that we talked about earlier. Do not waver. Now this is a muscle that you're gonna have to work. And this is why us coming from the military, we're so good at it, because we have to exercise discipline 24/7. Don't shortchange yourself. Have the discipline and keep on doing it day in, day out, day in, day out. And sooner or later, it's gonna get easier and easier. Like I said, it's a muscle that you work. Check your work, cross-check it, and balance it. A lot of times I get counts from people that count things one time. That is not enough. We said perfection can be achieved. Every time I count something, I'll count it 4 times, and a lot of times get 2 to 3 different counts. It's just how it works. Look at the amount of boxes that Gerardo has to count. You're telling me that he's gonna count it perfectly the first time? Absolutely not, unequivocally not, and I will guarantee that. But a lot of times we get counts that were only verified once. You gotta cross-check yourself. And what does cross-check and balances mean? It means if you're counting a full load, you counted the cases, you counted every pallet individually. Now look all the way towards the right of your tally and see how many pallets you just looked at. And then go back and count the amount of pallets that you supposedly checked. There might be a discrepancy there. So perfection can be achieved, but you gotta take pride in your work. You gotta double check yourself and balance, cross-check yourself and take your time. Because 5 minutes extra counting something is gonna save us an hour or 2 hours having to find something that was already moved or bringing everything down from when it was put away from. That's a guarantee. I say this to everyone that comes through here, 99% of the time people don't check themselves. They don't go over their work because they're lazy. Don't be lazy. Don't be unwavering on the discipline. Stay organized. In the warehouse, organization is key. And not only is it key for what you do every day, when somebody walks into a place that's not organized, they don't want to be there. And it creates extra and added noise that's really not necessary. Plus, you got customers that walk through, you got inspections from the fire department when they walk through. They want to see things organized. Everybody wants to see things organized. Don't you want to see things organized? Cube things out. And that helps you understand the matrix of warehousing. When people come through here, they just look at a bunch of boxes and a big mess, all right? If you cube things out, take one task at a time, try not to multitask, because when you multitask, you can't do it 100%. I haven't met one person that's a good multitasker yet. I said perfection can be achieved. You ain't gonna do it multitasking. I promise you that 100%. Get on your task, get focused on your task, do one task at a time, and cube everything out. You have one order, handle everything within that order, and move on to the next. If you have a delivery order with 12 containers on it, that delivery order is a cube with other cubes within it, which are containers. And when those containers arrived, you got a boatload more cubes in it. Cube things out. Take it one task at a time. Practice that. And when you're cubing things out, help yourself with something. Let's just say I threw a bunch of paperwork on the floor. Now what you want to do is cube it out. Get all your BOLs, stack them together. Get all your package slips, stack them together. Get all your orders and stack them together. Then put them together. So you're cubing things out. You cube the stack into little stacks and now the correct stacks. Same thing when you're handling items. Put all your reds together, put all your blues together, put all your tall ones together, put all your short ones together, cube everything out. And if you can achieve chronological order, meaning A, B, C, D, E, that's perfect. Sometimes we get containers in with 60, 70 SKUs in them. Cube it out. Put all the 3s on this side, the 4s on that side, the 5s on this side, or the 10s, the 20s, the 30s. Cube things out. It'll make things a lot easier for you. That's how your brain is configured. You can operate easily like that. So the concept here is to increase your value in the warehouse space. Money comes and goes. What you have to chase is value, because when you're valuable, the money will follow. Anywhere you go, that money will follow. Typically in this industry, we get folks that want to chase a quarter, 50 cents elsewhere. Now, does that make any sense to spend a year, 2 years, 3 years worth of your time in a place and then go to another place for 50 cents? Because I guarantee you where you're currently at, knowing all the systems and the process, that is worth more than 50 cents. And I'll give you a tip. In today's environment, if you want to test out your value, you find a better place and you tell your boss, you know what, boss, I don't see any growth here. I'm looking to further myself financially and be stable. I am going to another place that is willing to pay me a little bit more. And if you are valuable, I guarantee you that boss is going to say, you know what, I'll match their pay. And if you're not valuable to that boss, but you know you're valuable, then do yourself a favor. Go to that next place, because they might value you and what you bring to the table later. But remember, create value for you. Because at the end of the day, just like we say, everything you do is for yourself. You're learning, you get more dangerous, and you get more valuable. Value, value, value. That checklist that we promise is on the link below. Come visit us on our website. If you got this far, thank you for watching the video. We hope to keep giving you the great content that you asked for. Remember to leave your questions and any comments below. And until next time, we'll see you. Mike out.